Honorable Political Leader Kamla Prasad Bisesa, my colleagues together with me on this virtual platform, my UNC family, my people of Shagonas, good evening to you all. As your newly appointed Mayor of Shagonas, I would like to begin by thanking my political leader, Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisesa, for empowering the young people of this country. Tonight, I stand as a young mayor of Shagonas, only because of the faith my leader has placed in me. My people of Shagonas have stood with me from day one, and for that I am forever grateful. I pledge to be your voice and to ensure that your needs are met. My brothers and sisters, tonight I will speak of those who are trying to silence your voices and who are disregarding your needs. Local government is the lifeline of communities in Trinidad and Tobago. We are being stifled and robbed by this PNM government. What do I mean by that? We act as first responders to any distressing issues faced by the people of Trinidad and Tobago, be it flooding, garbage collection, or even a pandemic. For every disaster, and now COVID-19, you are sure to see a UNC representative bringing relief to the citizens of this country. In the borough of Shagonas, we have gone above and beyond the call of duty to ensure our purchases are taken care of. We are always ready with hampers, cleaning supplies, masks, you name it, we are the first at your door. We have adopted this type of service from our political leader, Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisesa. We have also found innovative ways to serve you with very little help from this PNM government. As local government representatives, we are charged with the responsibility of maintaining local roads, bridges and drains, collecting garbage, maintaining parks and community facilities, and overseeing public health and sanitation. But how are we to properly serve our people when we are starved? Starved from funding from this PNM government. Our burgesses are suffering more and more as the days go by, and as our funding constantly being decreased. This seems to be the new norm under this PNM government. It has become abundantly clear that the role we play in the lives of our burgesses are unimportant to this government. They continue along the lines of poor fiscal and economic management, and our people continue to suffer as a result. My friends, on the 5th of October, the Minister of Finance will read the budget, and you will hear that he's allocating millions of dollars to the Shagonas Borough Corporation and other corporations. Every budget, every year, they promise millions and millions of dollars, but at the end of the day, all we get is pennies. Pennies, my friends. They continue to fool the people and blame others for their failures and incompetence. I want to tell the people of Shagonas and all other citizens that you deserve better than that. I want my people, let me break it down for you. When they cut our funding and sprinkle a few pennies for us, what does that mean? It means, my brothers and sisters, empty lots can't be cut. Potholes can't be patched. Our recreational grounds can't be cut. Fewer days for garbage collection. And no employment opportunities can be created. This is a clear indication that all these needs are not important by this PNM government. That your basic needs mean nothing to them. It means that we cannot properly deliver the services that you deserve. Take, for example, the Shagonas Borough Corporation. In 2016, Prime Minister Rowley said that Shagonas will become the next city. He promised this during the local government election. And as a matter of fact, he only appears in Shagonas when there's an election. He promised better and brighter days for Shagonas. Well, my friends, let me tell you how he ensured this happened. 2017, decreased funding. 2018, decreased funding. 2019, decreased funding. And all this was before COVID-19. We are fed up. We are fed up of being starved and neglected. We don't want excuses. We want adequate funding for our people. Every time the Prime Minister talks, it's only mama guy, mama guy, mama guy. Another very important issue is local government reform. In order for local government to operate more efficiently and effectively, there is need for reform. Over the last 5 years, there has been no serious attempt by this government for local government reform. Only when there's an election, you hear them talking about it. Promises and promises in 2016 about local government reform. 2019 again, more promises about local government reform. We are coming to the end of 2020, and all we are getting is mama guy and more mama guy. My brothers and sisters, we are not accepting that. How are we expected to get the resources to deliver to the Burgesses if the PNM government continues their trend of cuts and decreases in our allocation? Why? Why is local government being treated with great disrespect and disregard under this PNM government? With the little funding, we are burdened. We are burdened with fixing potholes made by WASA and cleaning unkept water courses under the jurisdiction of the Ministry of Works. We are burdened by the mess this PNM government is creating in this country. My people, tonight I call on this PNM government to allocate substantial funding, not only for the Shagonas Borough Corporation, but for all municipalities, so we can deliver in a meaningful way to our Burgesses. They deserve to benefit from their tax-paying dollars. I am asking Prime Minister Rowley to seriously consider the needs of the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. Stop the mama guy. Stop the mama guy and send us proper funding and show us some respect in local government. Yes, my people, yes, we are in dark times because we have a government that is socially distancing themselves from the population and our needs. We have a government that is preoccupied with masking their lies, deception, and corruption. We have a government that is selfish and stubborn when it comes to the needs of the population. Send us the funds that we need to serve our people. They rightfully deserve it. Stop the mama guy. Stop the mama guy and start working in the best interests of our citizens. I want to remind my people of Shagonas that I am fighting for you. Together with my council, we have delivered 2,000 food hampers, distributed 7,000 face masks, packaged over 500 green hampers, cleaned various drains, and patched many roads with the help of private citizens. Can you imagine what we could have done for you with proper funding? Prime Minister Rowley, I am asking you to let the people of this country benefit from their hard-earned taxpaying dollars and stop the mama guy. Stop the mama guy. Stop the mama guy. Good night and thank you.
My colleagues are here with me, friends and family, and of course, all of you are logged in online. Thanks for joining us. Whilst I'm very happy to speak with you this evening, I'm doing so with a very troubled heart. You've heard other speakers before me this evening, and the depth of understanding of the hopelessness and despair that's in the country right now leaves us all with very, very deeply troubled hearts and minds. The last 5 years have been exceedingly critical, difficult for everyone. But you would have thought that having taken the country to the brink for 5 years, you're back in the saddle again, and you're doing absolutely nothing to help ease the pain and suffering of the people of this land, the suffering of our children. And tonight what I would like to see, Prime Minister, when you come for your budget on the 5th of October, when you come to Parliament, please promise to give the laptops to the children of Trinidad and Tobago. If it's one thing you must do to save this land, to save a whole generation, that's a whole future generation, it is to give them the laptops. Forget how it came, why it came, who did it, just do it. So my budget promise to the nation, I promised you before elections, I said I will give you free laptops again. Prime Minister, I'm giving that task over to you. Give the laptops to the children. This is generations to come will be lost. We've already lost almost a whole 2 terms, is it, Tim? And Tim explained to you how we were able to bring down the cost of the laptops. When we started it in the first year, I had promised it, and we kept that budget promise. We kept that election promise. In the very first year we went into government, by September, every child entering the school had a laptop. By the time we left government, you would have had 4 years of laptops, 4 forms. Form 1 in 2010, Form 2, they would have gone into 2. Class coming in 2011, coming in 2012, 2013, 2014. 5 generations benefited from those laptops. And the first thing that you did when you came into office in September 2015, which is when you would have given the laptops to the new Form 1s, that was it. Done. Nothing. And to today, nothing. I feel really outraged to know that our children are suffering like this. I have a young child at home. Many of us have young children at home. We know what they're going through with this period of time. Some are not so fortunate to have the laptop, to have the access to the internet and so on. And I am outraged that I could see in the newspapers a Prime Minister looking for something called a peacock. Can you believe it? The Prime Minister is looking everywhere and have people looking all over for a peacock. Something as exotic, outrageous I think that is, than to know that our children, because you told you about these 4 children, we discussed that earlier in our executive meeting about the depression and the suffering that people are going through. And you have a Prime Minister looking for what? Not looking for laptops for children, not looking for food or hampers or textbooks for families, and the young ones looking for what? A peacock. Can you believe that? Anywhere else in the world there would be outrage, and I am today exceedingly outraged, and we will continue to speak. You ask me why I'm here tonight? I saw when we put up the flyer, people say, well, they're lost. I want to remind you that 309,000 and more persons voted for the United National Congress. And we represent them. We have a voice. We are the loyal opposition of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, and we will do our job. And that is why we keep coming to you. We will raise the issues, because it seems we have a media who has gone mute, that it will report about somebody looking for a peacock. And that happens to be a Prime Minister. If you heard that anywhere else in the world, you would have had an uprising. When people are suffering in these times, Prime Minister looking for a peacock. I wonder if somebody even knows what that looks like. You think some of our children even know? They probably don't have a laptop, they have a computer, have access. They probably don't even know what that looks like. Because there's some exotic rare bird somewhere. I don't know where he got that. He got it from the zoo, he imported it from where. But our children cannot get a laptop. I think that is outrageous, and I registered that today. So let me tell you, there was hope that the 2020 general election would see a return of good governance, The result was not what we expected. Yes, we are disappointed, but we will not give up. I will not give up, the opposition will not give up, and we will continue to raise your issues where and when we can. Yes, we may have to do it virtually. May not be able to meet one-on-one with the distances and so on. But I want to remind you what Khadija said, and I want you to remember this always. They crashed this country long before COVID. We were on our knees when they read the last budget in 2019, September, October 2019. They had already wiped out this economy, had no economy. At that time, job losses had worked it all because they hide the statistics, They have not done any statistics for job loss or unemployment since 2017, since June 2017. But we were able last year to get the NIB report, which showed us that at least 60,000 people had come off the NIB rolls as at September 2019, as last year. So under that 4-year period, 4 years and a half or more, the Rowley regime had caused over 60,000 persons to lose their jobs. But we had to add to that. We had to add to that others who had been retrenched. We had to deal with the Petrotrin that my colleague Victor spoke about, the lost jobs, the jobs lost at Petro. When you add up all of these, I estimated by budget last year, before COVID, over 100,000 persons had lost their jobs under the Rowley regime. And you say, well, okay, that's okay. We put them back in. You voted for them. You put them there. But that doesn't stop us or shut us up. We will not shut up. We will expose them every single time. Dr. Bolo talked to you about the issues dealing with the COVID and so on. So COVID didn't crash us. And so when they come budget 2021, which is October 5th, 2020 into 21, you know what's going to happen? They spent 5 years, blame Kamala, blame Kamala, blame Kamala. And they're probably still blaming me, but nobody believes them anymore. So now what are they going to do? They will blame every single thing on COVID. Every single thing will blame COVID, blame COVID. So I want to remind you before they read that budget on October 5th, they had already crashed the economy before COVID even landed here. That was September last year. Already on crash, already into deficit budgeting. And now the Prime Minister tells us, there's a what? 15 billion hole. Why? The man looking for peacock, he says it's because of the COVID. $15 billion deficit. Well, I want to know where has that money gone? How many of you would like to know where is this 15 billion? Where is it 20 billion for the HSF? Where is it billions that they borrowed? Where has it gone? Because the majority of people that you meet, they come into our offices, they talk to us, we are MPs. We are inundated by people in desperation. They have not received one salary relief grant. They have not received any food hampers or food cards. So to tell us you have a 15 billion deficit, I want you to outline that. We'll hold you accountable. We've already filed questions in the Parliament to ask you, show us where the money gone. You remember some man had asked that? Where the money gone, Prime Minister? There's a man had asked that of Minister Rowley at the time. Where has that money gone? So if you spend 20 billion, you spend 15, you want to spend another 15, you want to go into a further deficit budget in this year. But the new budget, because you're going into a $15 billion hole, where are you going to get the funds for that? You've borrowed everywhere. You've borrowed from everybody in the world. But the only thing you could try to do now is like a susu. That's what we put on. Everybody put in every week. You've borrowed and borrowed. And you know what they're going to do now? I'm telling you this before they read that budget on Monday, the 5th of October. They're going to have fire sales of our assets. They're going to sell out the assets of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And who will buy it? Who will buy it? This is not a seller's market, Where we are now, anything you put up for sale, it is not a seller's market, it is a buyer's market. And who will have the money? The friends, the family, and the finances. Heed my warning. When they put up those Clico assets for sale, as you're seeing they're doing now, they're putting up Trin City Mall and Long Circular Mall. Those are yours. They belong to you. They are going to do fire sales and sell those at such undervalues. To whom? Friends and family, financiers. We have one family in that government owns so many properties they're renting off. The Al Rental boy. Al Rental is renting so many properties to the government. Right? They got about 5 properties. We hear what he won for the 43 million. But Mr. Al Rental, he's in that government to be the landowner, property owner that rents to the government all the time. And then you have another one, another minister, that his sole purpose in that cabinet is to recuse himself from cabinet. 57 times this young man had to stay away from the cabinet meeting. Why? Because some business was being transacted that his family was benefiting from. And that's the conflict of interest. Now, Prime Minister, I saw you said that's not corruption. Well, it's not corruption either when you're looking for a peacock and people starving in this country. But it is something outrageously wrong that you have to move out. How many weeks do you have in a year, remind me? 52. So if this man had to miss 57 meetings, that's like a whole year, because you have a cabinet meeting once a week. You have to stay away from your cabinet 57 times, Mr. Young. Why? Because your family business is benefiting. Somebody in your family is benefiting. Can that be right? And they want to cry corruption on every person in this country when right amongst them there. These are things that are not appropriate, they're inappropriate. It is not that you say, I'll put you in jail. No. You sit in the cabinet, your colleagues are around the table, and you say, okay, I'm going outside, I'll come back just now. When that cabinet note is being discussed. Do you expect anybody in that cabinet to say no? Do you expect anybody to question it, Mr. Young? And then your Prime Minister comes on this long interview. He did a 4-page article, 5 pages in some newspaper and so on, being interviewed and said nothing is wrong with that. That's not corruption. Well, Prime Minister, I said that is not right. It cannot be that 2 members of your cabinet have to leave the cabinet meeting so many times. Why? Because they are benefiting to their family. Their family is benefiting. And I remember when we asked you, when that Al Rental contract came up before the cabinet, we asked, Rowley said, no. He didn't stay in the meeting. You know, Rowley was not even in the country when that was discussed. Wasn't even at the cabinet meeting when it was discussed. So he said, no, he accused himself. He wasn't there. We had asked that question. Was he there? Well, one day we'll find out the truth, you know, because the one thing you can't do is hide the truth. So the truth always comes out, and we will find out. We will find out their ways and means within the law, lawfully, that we can find these things out. So I'm saying we have all of these things happening. I want to spend a moment, as I'm publicly addressing today since the election, to thank all the teams who worked everywhere. Please allow me, on behalf of the United National Congress, to say thank you to the teams that worked throughout the country, which allowed us, as I said, to get more than 309,000 votes in Trinidad alone. Only in the 39 seats in Trinidad, because we did not contest Tobago. And do you know we got more votes in Trinidad than the PNM got in Trinidad? We got more votes than the PNM in the general election in Trinidad. That is why when they put up the maps, you see whole place yellow. But because of the way the seats have been configured from way back when, you have these few up on the top here, down in point 14, that's it. That's it. Along the corridor, yep. Look, how many seats we have down in Superior? 1. How many seats do you have in Diego Martin? They have north and south and east. I mean, the seats are configured in a way that it is so easy for the election results to turn out where the majority of the people in the country, in Trinidad, voted not for the PNM. And the majority voted for us, the 309,000, but they end up with the government. And these are things that we'll have to keep speaking about. The same in the local government. We'll have some local government by-elections coming up soon because we've elevated Vandana from mayor, and congratulations, Mayor Faik, for your ascendancy to that job in the borough. There will be, so we'll have to replace Vandana and other councillors who have now gone on to the bigger house, the House of Parliament. And again, the same thing will happen. You will have burgesses in Point 14 who will vote for a councillor, and they will be only an electorate of 2,000. Then you'll come up to vote for the seat that Vandana is in. How many? How many thousands? 6,000 or 7,000. There's some other electoral districts for local where you have about 10,000 burgesses. But you know the councillors get the same pay. Whether they're made up of 10,000 burgesses, or whether it is the 2,000.42 in Arima. So the map has been done in a way, and it's been cut, the boundaries. Dr. Mego will tell you that, he knows as well, because he's done a lot of political analysis. The boundaries are cut in such a way. So, guys, Naked, you did well. Congratulations. JJ, you did well. Congratulations. And to all the UNC candidates who went out there and fought and their teams, we say thank you so much. We are very grateful. We will not let you down. We will continue to raise our voices, to raise the issues that affect you and you have to deal with on a daily basis. So we are around, you know. During our fight has to be this. We have to remove tyrants and despots. That's our fight. We have to remove dictatorial rules. Senator Janti talked to you about bringing legislation to the parliament, but not bringing it. When they brought that very bill about the mask to parliament, they told us they're bringing something urgent. We have to come out of the recess of the parliament. Everybody, come to parliament. We went on the Friday and the senators had to go Saturday. Okay? So this is like something really amazing happening. Something really tremendous. And say, we are coming to pass the law about masks. Now, when we got into the parliament, not one word was about masks. Not a single word was about masks. So the deception continues. And then when people took their guidelines to court, as Jandy read from one of the judgments, and they like to talk about UNC lawyers, I think they're just jealous, you know. I think that's their problem. We have very good lawyers in this party. And we have very good persons in the UNC. They are not necessarily members of the UNC, but as Jandy said, they take up causes. You have clients. People come to you. They say, I want to challenge this. And they challenge the regulations because they were putting in some of those regulations, they were creating criminal offenses. And you cannot create a criminal offense by a minister merely signing a regulation. That is giving the executive, a minister, the power to criminalize actions. That's what that did. And it was struck down by the court. But this Pharisee rental man is so glib, very loquacious, you know. So he comes and he talks, no, well, the judgment wasn't really that. It was this. But if you have eyes to see, you will see. And if you could read, you will read, and you will read the judgment for yourself and say, the court said you cannot create criminal offenses by a minister signing a regulation when he's at home somewhere or whilst he's helping the Prime Minister look for his peacock. You can't do that. You just can't do it. And that is what every time we challenge citizens to use their lawful rights to go to court, and Faris is not happy with the judgment, he criticizes the lawyers. Says they're UNC lawyers. Half of them not even UNC lawyers. They're just good lawyers. And that's what he's not. So he's just jealous. So when he brings legislation, we take it to court. Citizens are entitled. That is your right. You know what they say? They say politics is a civilized form of war. In the past, you have something went wrong, you have big sword, and then you have big guns and cannons, and go out and fight and kill each other. That's how things happen. But then you have the courts of law. If you have a dispute, you have something that is wrong, it is your right. That's such an entrenched right. You cannot take it away from a citizen. If Faris would have his way, no citizen would be able to file any court case in this land that challenges the bad legislation he brings. So I was saying we have to get out these people who are determined to be despots and dictators and tyrants, you know. And I was going to tell you something, I had written it down here. During World War II, the Russians were on the verge of collapse at the hands of the Germans. So they were at the door. The Russians, the Germans were at their doorstep, and they were on the verge of collapse. The Russians suffered one defeat after the next, defeat after defeat, until the Germans were at the gates of Moscow. And when it felt as if all was lost, you know what they did? The Russians, when all was lost then to the Germans, they felt it. They found their united purpose, their inner strength, and ingrained determination that if they didn't band together and defend themselves, all would be truly lost. And that is what they did. They turned around, they united, and they drove the Germans away, all the way back to Germany. They liberated everyone who were crushed under the jackboot of Hitler. Hitler thought he was winning until the will of the people was truly realized. And that is what they did do. United and band together. And that's what we have to do. We have to come together. We have to work as a united force if we are to preserve the democracy in this land. And if we are to preserve not just democracy, you know, if you are to preserve livelihoods, and if you are to preserve and propel the next generation forward, I come again This man looking for a peacock, please look for the laptops for the children. Announce it in your budget. You have the chance. Do something good for once, for people, not for yourself. Come out and give the people, give the parents the laptops that they need for their children. And so I say our hope, we must keep hope alive. We must not give up, for the fight is only over when we give up, when we surrender. Some days, I'm sure everyone feels a day when I really don't feel like to come out of the house today. Look at you smiling. It's true. Some days you just don't want to come out. Some days I don't even want to talk to somebody. Just feel to, reflect on the reality. But I don't give up. I don't. So if you call me in the morning and I didn't take the call, I might call you back by the evening. But sometime I'll find it and I'll do it. I will not give up, and we will not give up. We will never give up on the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And that's the reason I'm here. And I see some people have been crying. They're like little, gosh, what's the word, boy? Little ants or flies or something like that. People, that's their democratic right. The party will hold its internal elections. When they are due, I will put my hat in the ring and I challenge you, manos y manos, woman to woman, come forward and put your name next to mine. I understand they're looking for somebody who wants to challenge me, because none of them want to put their name next to mine. So do not worry. That is the democracy too, is not? That is democracy. Some people didn't get a seat, whether it was Senate seat or seat in the House, and they vexed. They want to mash up the whole castle, mash up everything, but they will not succeed. And they know they will not succeed. So you know what happens? They're not calling for an internal election. No? You know what they're calling for? You know what they're calling for? If you really truly wanted to have a play and a part in a democracy, in a democratic party, you will call for the election. No, they want me to resign. I am not resigning. I will call, and the party will call its election when it's due. And again I say, come forward, we'll take you on. I'll take on all comers. I am not afraid of any of you. I've been here longer than you, and I'm far brighter than you could ever hope to be. So friends, that's the message I want to give you tonight. Don't be worried, but we now, in this party, I had said it before, and we have grown. This is the first election that the UNC has fought on its own and won the greatest number of votes. Did you all know that? In all elections before, we used to have UNC Alliance, remember? UNC-A and UNC-B or whatever it was in those days. Then we had a partnership. Yes, we got more votes, but that was not the UNC alone. That was 5 parties, But it was a uniting, it was a coming together. But for the first time, the number of votes the UNC secured alone was over 309,000 votes in the last election. So never fear, Kamala is here. Never fear, we are all here. And to the country, I said, do not despair. The UNC is here for you, and we will raise the issues for you. So, back in December now, we watched as this new virus started spreading in China. In January, Tim has mentioned it already, the opposition tried repeatedly to raise this virus as a matter of urgent public importance and so on. We tried on several occasions, but nothing happened. We had a speaker who was never satisfied that anything was urgent, so it was turned down. Even then, on the very day that the President of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago signed an order declaring the COVID-19 as a dangerous infectious disease, that was the very day we raised the motion in Parliament. And then, not satisfied, not debated, the ALSIC made a statement, don't worry, we have everything under control, everything is under control. Today, look what Dr. Boda has to tell you. Nothing is under control. It was only under control until the date of the election. That's the only control they had, to shut down the country, shut down everyone, and leave half the population outside. Over 10,000 people outside. Bring the people home. Bring them home. You let Madame Delcy come in here to hold secret meeting, and other Venezuelan top brass, you brought them here. But your own citizens, you are treating them like vagrants. You cannot bring them home. Every other nation is bringing their citizens home. There's a protocol established worldwide for bringing citizens home. What's wrong with us? We have no heart. We have no care. Can you imagine people went for a 2-week vacation and they had limited amount of money, had to pay to stay at a hotel, a guest house, or wherever? Can you imagine what is their condition? How are they eating? How are they living? Where are they living? Have you thought of that? But you're busy looking for some peacock that you get lost. And you have your citizens abandoned and stranded abroad. And that's why when I tell you I'm outraged today, I'm outraged to see the heartlessness. To see they just don't care. They just do not care. I think he's already said this is his last term, so he gone. He don't care. Do you think he cares? He doesn't care. How can you say you care when you have 10,000 of your own abroad? Elderly, sickly people, children, not so young, not so old, just citizens. I have seen no nation in the world abandon their citizens like that. I have not seen that happening anywhere. And we see right here, look, when people asked to come home, they abandoned them in Barbados. We have to thank Mia Motley and her government there for keeping our citizens. And there was an aircraft coming to pick up, a British aircraft coming to Trinidad to pick up British citizens to take them back to England. And they had offered to bring our citizens from Barbados because they would stop there, pick them up and bring them on their way. Empty aircraft, you know, because they were coming empty. They refused to allow those citizens to come home. So let's see, they're bringing them bit by bit. Let's see how long it will take, 5 years. And if they have their way, this COVID will last 10 years. But that's the light governance in these COVID times because they blame everything on COVID and lock down everything else. So they will not accept any responsibility for anything that happens under their watch. So today, they still have no rapid testing. The Alson told us in January, everything on the, no rapid testing. When I called for it, he said, oh yes, okay, we got 160,000. When they asked him, well, where is it? He said he has to wait on the manufacturer. Lies. They feed us lies on a daily basis so they could survive one more day, and one more day, and one more day as they go by. So I can't see the Minister of Health. Look, let's leave him alone. I'll leave him for Dr. Bodo to deal with that. So let's take this on. I want to ask you these questions before I close. As I said, the new victim of their blame game is COVID. So I want to ask you this. Did COVID raise gas prices? No. It was Imbo who did it. He said, I raised it 3 times, man, and nobody rioted yet. Remember? Did COVID raise gas prices? Did COVID raise food prices? Did COVID cause crime rates to skyrocket? Did COVID cause you to lose your job? The 100,000 lost it before COVID. It was a wicked, incompetent P&M regime. Did COVID cause our children not to have laptops? You know, there's nothing like something that really slaps you in the face. When you come to see today, and since COVID hit, how vital that laptop program was. And as Tim mentioned, I take great praise for it, and Tim as our Minister of Education, and the Cabinet of the time, that we took that very forthright. I remember when we went in there, you know, there were 2 things I want to mention there. 2 things we did that I'm very proud of. That was the laptop program, and Cabinet Note number 1. You all remember that, Tim? You were there in our Cabinet. Cabinet Note number 1 of 2010. My first Cabinet Note was what? To create the Children's Life Fund. You see what's happening now? People are back to curricula and barbecue. They will not even help the children with the life fund. But when they get sick, they're taking your taxpayers and dollars and going where? Flying off to the US. Remember that guy from, where was it? La Hoqueta, the MP. Fly off or gone all over the world. And our own children here, you can't help them. The Prime Minister himself, when he has to get checked up, he go in abroad. Then they tell you you have the best healthcare in the world, but they're flying away from it and putting you into it. The hypocrisy of these people. So they don't worry. I ask you this. We will experience this very difficult period. They have already crashed the economy on us, and I don't see one plan. One plan they have. So we'll hope on the budget day they come with some plans, not just to beg, borrow. Was it beg, borrow, sell? I told you about the fire sales, and they will sell out the assets to get money. Yes, they will do all of that. But please come on budget day and tell us what are your plans. Because you haven't told us, you know. This was the first time you see these people going into government, they never had a plan. They never had a manifesto. Nothing to resuscitate the economy. Nothing to stabilize the economy. Nothing for the economy to recover. So I hope by budget day, you will have some. We do, and I'll keep repeating them. We had a national economic transformation plan. We had all the prosperity engines outlined there to resuscitate the economy, keep us stable, and then grow. We have heard nothing from them. Long ago, when I mentioned about agriculture, the Prime Minister said, listen, we don't have land for agriculture. That's the same man you see showing lettuce on the TV the other day. You see, he planted lettuce in the Prime Minister's backyard at the residence. That's the same man. When we talk about agriculture as being one of the major drivers of the economy, for diversification, for feeding ourselves, for earning foreign exchange. So no, we don't have land. We don't have land. But he has land where he lost a peacock. So much land he has up there, he lost the peacock and can't find it. I know I cannot believe it, you all are laughing away, but I still feel somebody reported wrong. That cannot be a right newspaper report. So where are they now? Where are they and what are they doing? They don't have to worry. They have constantly made it harder for families to survive, and I don't see any glimmer of hope. So, hopefully I'll eat my words on budget day and we'll see some hope. But I'll tell you something else. We've started doing our analysis. We have several committees meeting, preparing for budget prep. And already we are seeing the promises they made in every budget from 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19. Not one has been kept. They have broken every single promise. Everything they promised to do. Look, even the bulbs you all talk about, I think they gave us some bulbs today. Why? Because we kept telling them no light bulb coming. I mean, last budget, that was a big giveaway, bulb. Well, I'm told I give people 4 bulbs. 4 bulbs. I don't know how many they really gave. The question will now be who got the contract and how. What was the tendering process? Because you still have not 5 years into government, going into your 6th year. You have not yet proclaimed fully the procurement legislation. So we will push for that too. Because if they keep going into more projects, spending more money, selling things, we'll have to see it. And now, the latest scandal, I think, is this Bridgman's. That contract, that Bridgman's contract. The Prime Minister went on national TV and told the nation that something was shady about this Bridgman's contract. And what did you do? What has he done? They've gone and given back a renewed contract to Bridgman's. True. That's what they've done. Scandal after scandal, and then accuses everybody else of every wrongdoing and will not deal with their own. So we have these tighten your belt. And don't forget, this is Iman, this Minister of Finance, say he raised the gas price 3 times, nobody ran. Remember, this is the Minister, as Minister of Finance, he removed taxes on yachts. How many people in this country have a yacht? I know one, and that is the Minister of Finance, he has one. He moved taxes, boldface, moved taxes on yachts, services. So we'll get cheaper bills, he will get cheaper bills, I suppose. So what will we expect in this budget now? This property tax, that's the last thing I'll talk about. The Minister is saying he's going to bring or implement fully the property tax. And already you have trolls on the Facebook telling people, don't worry, that's not for poor people, That had nothing to you, that them big boys up in the west by Damien and them up there. I saw the other big boys down in the south. That's not for ordinary people. It's not for, nothing is further from the truth. If that property tax is implemented fully in the way that they have set it out, every single citizen will feel a burden. Because no one is going to take all our taxes on their own. If you're a businessman, you're going to pass it off. If you're not a businessman, you're going to find your rental, you're renting it out, you'll find a way to pass on. It will go elsewhere. So that every single thing, every area of hardship you have now will come double-fold. I had promised that should we get into office, we'll move the online tax. I still think they should move the online tax. The online purchase tax should be removed. It is nothing but a nuisance tax. And when we look at the numbers, we'll see how much money they made from it. Will not be much money at all. Remove the VAT from food. We did it. I looked at the numbers again, and the amount of revenue that came in, it was not drastically reduced, But they had some grand plan. Their first budget, they said they will get $12 million on VAT. I can't hear you. 12 billion for VAT. And when we checked the books over the years, the VAT came in anywhere near to that 12. So they put these taxes, they do not work it through and believe that that is where they will get money to hire bridgemans, to buy light bulbs, or to do whatever else that they have to do. So I'm going to warn you about this property tax. Don't get carried away. Remember, the UNC lawyers challenged the law. When they said you had to go in and register, you had to register. And they wanted to make it like, again, a criminal offense if you don't go. No, that didn't happen. The court held it was a voluntary process. And so they were not, when people learned that, because of the court decision, they have not filled the rolls. They have to fill the rolls. I saw Minister West saying up to when she was there, less than 50%. And they have to fill at least 50%. So do not go in. There is no mandatory ruling for you to go and register your property with the BIR. There is none whatsoever. Do not go. If you do, you'll be encouraging them to come and take your monies in taxes. And remember when I asked him, I said, Minister, but this property tax, what does it mean? So if you have a dog kennel, he said every structure. If you have a dog kennel in your yard, if you have a duck pen, or where people keep chicken, a chicken coop, all of that, each one is going to be taxed separately. So don't let that get away from you. And I tell you this, there's only one thing I think they can do, and we will watch for it. They can come to change the law. They can seek to change the property tax law to make it an offense, just like what he did with the subsidiary legislation, to make it a criminal offense if you do not come to register, to force people to register. And we'll be looking for that should they want to do that. Of course, we'll have our lawyers, whether UNC or otherwise, all lawyers will be on lookout that will be able to take them on. So friends all, UNC family, I thank God to have Tim back with us. We were really worried about him, and so many others who are under the pressure of the COVID. We want to say to you, God bless, keep safe, follow the guidelines, follow the protocols, and I hope to meet you again next Monday night. We're going virtual again to talk with you. God bless, and thank you very much. Thank you.